Hey guys, welcome to another sports analysis. I'm Scott Davies, and today we're going to talk about some of the coaching changes happening in college football. I know there was some big blockbuster coaching signings by some of these schools, so today we're going to cover them a little bit, and I'm going to let you know my opinion on a couple of them. So let's get right into it. So firstly, we're going to talk about the big coaching signing happening for USC with Lincoln Riley going there, leaving Oklahoma kind of out of the blue after he said, he wasn't going to take LSU's coaching job. And a lot of people were saying, he's definitely going to LSU. Nick Saban said the same thing about Alabama. Well, we got our answer now. He was going to USC. I think it's a great place for him to go. He obviously recruited very well in the state of California, so it should be easier for him to do it now that he's in California, instead of telling parents of these college students, trust me with your son to go to Oklahoma. He can say, trust me with your son, we're right down the street. So look for USC to probably be the best team in the Pac-12, especially with Oklahoma's ex-head coach signing with the Miami Hurricanes. That signing, that should be pretty good. He went there and everything, but definitely not as big as the Pat Riley signing for USC. He's taking some of his coaching staff and players that had committed to Oklahoma already. So Oklahoma probably not going to do too hot, going to the SEC and losing their coach. And USC is definitely on the come up. They're all in. They're definitely trying to get back to reigning supreme in the Pac-12 and maybe all of college football. Only time will tell, but USC is definitely a team to look for and watch out for in the Pac-12 for sure. Another huge one that I want to talk about is Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame and going to LSU. That seemed to happen overnight. There wasn't a lot of talks about it. Who wants to leave the Notre Dame job? There are a lot of coaches out there, say I'm only working here or Notre Dame or this or that, and the Notre Dame job doesn't open up all the time. So it's interesting. It's an interesting time in college football to watch. These other schools kind of come up and watch. Notre Dame especially kind of lose its share of strength in college football. Like we always talk about, Alabama, Ohio State, a couple other SEC teams, a couple other Big Ten teams, maybe some Big 12 teams. We're always talking about them. Notre Dame always finds themselves in the mix, but being that independent team, they always kind of got to set their own pace, set their own schedule, kind of do what they wanted. So from a coaching standpoint, it's really interesting to see him leave. I completely understand it. With them losing kind of a lot of their recruits, a lot of just that market share, it is interesting to see him in the SEC at LSU, which is a big-time SEC school. Facilities, I've heard, are better. I haven't been there myself to know, but heard that the facilities are better, and it's going to be interesting to see. Brian Kelly was a great coach at Cincinnati, the most winningest coach at Notre Dame. We'll see how he fills the shoes left by Ed Ogeron here at LSU, and I hope the best for him. But only, like I said, only time will tell how that'll come together. Not a signing, but kind of a job saving. Harbaugh at Michigan. Definitely think he cemented himself and saved his job at Michigan. I'm an Ohio State fan. You probably don't know that, but I'm an Ohio State fan, so I definitely didn't want to see him win. But it's nice to see, he beat the Buckeyes and won the Big Ten, and now he's number 2 ranked team in the nation, about to play Georgia here in a couple weeks. So we'll see how that goes. I definitely want him to win. I'm rooting for the Big Ten here, but we'll see how that goes. But I want to congratulate Harbaugh on saving his job here at Michigan, and I'm looking forward to the rematch. I'll say I'm super excited to that, and to see Ryan Day win another one over Michigan. I loved it. That's the game. It's the game for a reason. It's my game, and it's the biggest game in all of college football. So I'm excited for next year to see how the Buckeyes come back in Columbus to play that game. So I already talked about this briefly, but Oregon's former head coach Mario Cristobal. Sorry, I have a hard time pronouncing his last name for whatever reason, but having him go to Miami, I think is pretty huge for that program. Him having gone there as a college student and playing there, I think that's huge for their program and to get back up on track. Not quite as big of a splash as USC, but I think it should be definitely a step in the right direction there in the ACC. It's kind of wide open at this moment in time. Clemson kind of dropped the ball this year, kind of opening the door for some other teams in the ACC to come back to prevalence. I mean, we won't see Florida State anytime soon, but Miami is one to watch for here in a couple of years to see how they come along and grow and develop into a championship contending team in a couple of years. Really time will tell on this one. Like the Pat Riley thing, I think is a pretty surefire thing. I think the Brian Kelly job at LSU, I think he's gonna do fantastic. So it only time will tell. But this one's kind of a little bit more like your traditional coaching hire. Like, we'll see if he's good or not. Another one that we definitely have to talk about is Notre Dame's new head coach, Marcus Freeman. Big reason we got to talk about it is they're the 5th ranked team in the country. Had a chance to go to get in that college football playoffs if the cards fell right. So it was crazy seeing Brian Kelly leave. But Marcus Freeman, I think, is a good sighting. Internal guy. Going to keep the players' morale into it. That's one that was like you didn't see coming, but after it happened, you're like, that's a great one. Like, that's a great pick. It's good to see, especially people of color getting these type of jobs. A lot of times they don't even get an interview, so it's nice. He obviously got the interview and got the job. So congratulations, Marcus Freeman, getting the job at Notre Dame. Hopefully he can keep the winning tradition up and keep making that team into the powerhouse that it has been for the last couple years, and hopefully make it even better. I'd love to see Notre Dame get back to that like super strong, dominant team. They were a couple of years ago. I mean, I know they got blown out for that national championship game, but they were playing Alabama, and we know Alabama and how good they are. So Nick Saban's not going anywhere. If he went somewhere, that would be insane. If he decided to leave the best team in college football, though, the only place I could see him going is Ohio State. But why would you even do that? It's kind of like a level playing field in my eyes, anyway. The last big name I want to talk about, he hasn't said he's going anywhere, but I know a lot of people think that he is Luke Fickell with Cincinnati. I don't really see him going anywhere. I didn't see him going anywhere in the first place. I mean, after he left Ohio State, he kind of mentioned the only teams he'd really want to go to would be back to Ohio State or to Notre Dame, seeing as that job's been filled. I don't really imagine him going anywhere. Cincinnati is moving into the Big 12, so they are going to be moving into a Power 5 conference. So that'll be interesting to see how that transition works itself out. I mean, the Big 12 is kind of open for business at this moment in time. I think Baylor is going to be kind of your favorite for the next coming year, Baylor and Oklahoma State, but Cincinnati could kind of throw a wrench into that, seeing as right now they're the 4th best team in the nation, about to play Alabama here in a couple weeks. So we'll see how that shakes out. I'm super excited for that, but I think currently at this moment in time, Baylor is going to be the team to beat in the Big 12 for years to come. Oklahoma State might throw its hat in the ring every now and again, but with Texas and Oklahoma leaving, you're really kind of opening up the Big 12 to many possibilities. So we'll see how that goes, but I think Luke Fickell is there to stay. I think he's going to try to take over the Big 12 and make Cincinnati the team to beat there. So that'll do it for today's video. Let me know what you liked, didn't like down in the comments below. Obviously, like, subscribe on our video. Always looking for different topics to talk about. So comment down below like what you'd want to hear, and different segments to our channel here. We'd definitely like to hear what our fans have to say. So this is Sports Analysis with Scott Davies. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you next time.